Browns rookie minicamp is underway in Cleveland, and all eyes are on the quarterback room. Shedeur Sanders, alongside fellow QB draft pick Dillon Gabriel, has been going through play installs and competitive drills. And while everyone is dialed into who will get to start week one, none of that is expected to be determined during rookie minicamp. Here's Shedeur Sanders on his focus heading into his rookie season.
My job here isn't to prove people wrong. Like, I prove myself right. And I fully have self-belief. You know, and what those people say, that's just their opinion. So I don't truly care. They don't really live in my mental space about that type of stuff. It really doesn't do anything for me.
All right, NFL insider Jeremy Fowler with us right now. You just heard from Shedeur Sanders. What more can you tell us about Shedeur Sanders in his first few days in rookie minicamp?
Yeah, yesterday he made a few good throws, got the social media folks hyped up a little bit, so he's clearly capable. It wasn't perfect, it was a bit up and down at times, and you're playing against tryout players. It's rookie minicamp. The expectations overall are pretty low. They just want the players to get functional, learn some instruction, communicate, some of those basics. So right now, Dillon Gabriel, the third-round pick, is still taking some of those first-team reps. I guess you could call them first team. So now they're working that out. And Shedeur has been really as advertised. He's come in, he's shown he can be accurate and can process information. So that's the good side. But as somebody with the Browns told me, this is going to be a long road. They got the next 4 months to work with all four quarterbacks, get them in OTA, see what they can handle against some real 11-man defense.
We're only in May, guys. Everybody just relax and take a deep breath.
No
a few other QBs in camp this week. So what are you hearing out of Tennessee regarding the top pick, Cam Ward?
So the Titans are really impressed with his sort of communication with his young players, especially with they have three fourth-round picks that are tight ends or wide receivers. So he's got playmakers there to work with that he's going to be building with for years to come, they hope. And he's been really talkative and vocal with those guys, trying to get their timing right. If the rep's not right, he'll have them run it back with them. And so really from a leadership standpoint, he's doing what they like. Titans, they're really focused on technique and some of those basics, but they like what Ward has to offer. And really, he came in knowing the playbook. That was important because throughout the process, he knew he was going to be a Titan for the most part. He dug in and got it done. And you got Tyler Shuck here. So the door is open with Derek Carr retiring, but I was hearing that Shuck felt pretty good about his chances. It's certainly in a humble way that he has to earn his role, but his chances to have a role in this team and potentially play, because when the Saints took him, they knew he was among the most pro-ready quarterbacks in the draft with a lot of experience in his mid-20s, fought through injury to play a lot of football. So he should be able to get acclimated quickly. The Saints are going to open this up. Yeah. They got Spencer Rattler. They got Jake Haener, who have a little more season, a couple years under their belt, but Tyler Shuck is in a position where he could certainly play, and they drafted him knowing that the Carr situation was uneasy. They didn't know he was going to retire at this point, but this is a situation where with who they drafted and the experience Shuck has, that could lead to him playing earlier than maybe most would.
The door is definitely open down there.
Saying what I'm about to say in a roundabout way, Louis Riddick, I'm going to be straight up and down with you because you know how much I revere you. I completely disagree with you with what you're saying, and I'm disappointed in what you didn't say. A lot of this was about primetime Deion Sanders. You can say whatever you want to the audience out there, to these idiotic trolls all over social media talking about, Shedeur Sanders wasn't that great or whatever. There is no one, I repeat, no one that looked at Shedeur Sanders and even had him less than the third best quarterback in the draft. This is a quarterback-driven league. This guy was considered one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the draft, and 143 picks came and went before you heard his name. Don't talk to me about football. I don't want to hear a damn thing about football. This ain't about football. This is about something else. And I said that even though it's different, I brought up the name Colin Kaepernick. And why? I didn't sit up there and throw a pity party for Colin Kaepernick. I knew his career in the NFL was over the minute that the NFL organized that workout for him at the Atlanta Falcons practice facility, which was led by Jay-Z and those cats and Roger Goodell and what have you, and he elected not to show up and instead tried to have the workout an hour and 20 minutes away, and he going to notify them 2 to 3 hours before the workout. I said he is done. And I have no sympathy because, damn it, they tried to make it happen because the league had to do it because the owners didn't want to. It's an accident that no owner in the National Football League wanted to touch him. We can use the word collusion. It ain't necessary. They think alike in a lot of different situations. They don't have to collude with one another. There's a universal understanding that this is our league, and we want to do what we want to do the way that we want to do it. And we'll be damned if anybody's going to tell us what to do, because guess what? We running the show, and people going to come. They're going to flock to the stadium. They're going to have their tailgate parties. We going to win in the ratings. We going to make damn near $250 million apiece as an owner. Ain't a damn thing anybody's going to do about it. We understood that years ago. But suddenly we going to engage in collective amnesia here. Hold on, Molly, because this is very important. Primetime Deion Sanders' hands are not clean in this. Shedeur Sanders' hands are not clean on this. If you go into an interview and people thinking that you brash and arrogant and what have you, and they think that they're going to have a problem working with you, that's partially on you. Primetime Deion Sanders going out publicly and stating on the record, there's a couple of teams we might not want him with, and he ain't going there if we gonna get him, if they're gonna select him. And he's on Tamron Hall's show, and she's like, what if your son don't listen? He said, who? What? Like, that ain't gonna happen. You look at NFL teams, along with the specter of people potentially calling for him to be the next coach, you can understand the reticence. But for 143
Stephen A, hold that thought, because you brought up 3 points, and I want Louis to respond. The first point is the football aspect of him being the third quarterback on everyone. Then there's the Deion aspect, and then there's the Shedeur aspect. So let's tackle them one by one. First, Louis, can you respond to Stephen A's sentiment about that he was the third best quarterback on everybody's draft board?
At least.
And this didn't have anything to do with play?
If not top two.
Look, like I said, evaluating players is highly subjective. Do I believe that he was okay? Let's just put it this way: do I believe that he was worse than Dylan Gabriel, who I love? I love Dylan Gabriel as a person. Watched him live as a player multiple times. No, he's better than Dylan Gabriel.
That's right.
He's a better football player than Dylan Gabriel. Okay, as simple as that. What I wanted to say though is this: Stephen, I've said multiple times. Of course, Deion's specter, Deion's aura, Deion's presence has something to do with this. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the process that has nothing to do with on the football field. When teams are evaluating Shedeur from January, February, March, April, all of that comes along with him, the people who are with him, the people who are going to be his inner circle. How's he going to be as far as how's he going to be advised?
Fowler joins us now. He said that this Cleveland quarterbacks competition is going to be all-encompassing evaluation, and obviously they have Kenny Pickett there. They have Joe Flacco as well. What are you hearing about the two rookies, though, at first glance?
Yeah, so they're going to keep 4 quarterbacks, Hannah, throughout the offseason leading into training camp. So Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders will have plenty of opportunities to make their impression and to try to make the team. That's really their first goal. They have to do that because the Browns are probably going to keep at a max 3 quarterbacks. Somebody's going to be the odd man out. So Sanders has been as advertised as far as what the Browns liked in the pre-draft process: accuracy, decision-making. They want to see him build on that. But the tricky part for him is they're really high on Gabriel. They essentially overdrafted him in the 3rd round just to ensure that they got him. I was told the Browns are really surprised that the media never picked up pre-draft very much on how high they were in Gabriel with their private workouts with him, with bringing him in for a top 30 visit. So he's still in a pretty good position right here, and we'll see. Now, I'm talking to people around the league. They wouldn't be surprised if the Browns try to swing a trade eventually with one of these 4 quarterbacks. Because they look at that position as currency, as value. So if somebody plays well in the preseason, maybe they'll be in a new uniform.
Yeah, it's going to be really fascinating to see. You know what they say when you have multiple quarterbacks, that you have none. I know, but they do. They have a ton. All right, let's talk about another rookie quarterback who we got our first eyes on, and that would be that number 1 overall pick, Cam Ward, and the Titans. What are you hearing so far about Ward?
Well, Hannah, what's funny is he knows the playbook really well because he figured he was going to Tennessee. I was told he did a bang-up job in the pre-draft interviews and process with Tennessee.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel where we cut through the noise and give it to you real. This is your home for everything football, from the locker room whispers to the front office politics. And today, we've got a firestorm brewing in Cleveland. The Browns rookie minicamp is in full swing, and the spotlight is white hot on one man, Shedeur Sanders. Now, I know you've seen the headlines. I know you've heard the interview. But let us get one thing clear right now. What's happening in Cleveland is not just about football. Oh no, this is about perception, politics, and power. So grab your seat, hit that like button, And get ready because we're diving deep into what's really going on behind the scenes. Rookie minicamp has kicked off in Cleveland, and while most of the country is yawning through May football, Browns fans and football junkies alike are dialed in to what's happening in the quarterback room. That's because Shedeur Sanders, the son of Hall of Famer and cultural lightning rod Deion Primetime Sanders, is suiting up, learning the playbook, and turning heads alongside fellow rookie quarterback Dillon Gabriel. Let's get something straight. Nobody expects a QB1 decision in rookie mini. This stage is about installs, communication, footwork, mechanics. It's a low-stakes, high-learning environment. But with Shedeur Sanders, nothing is ever truly low stakes. Every throw he makes, every huddle he commands, every word he says gets dissected, debated, and thrown into the media spin cycle. And speaking of words, did you hear what Sanders had to say? My job here isn't to prove people wrong. I prove myself right. That's not just confidence. That's a mindset. That's a quarterback who knows who he is, regardless of how the media paints him or how the draft board unfolded. But the million-dollar question is, why did it unfold like that in the first place? Let's talk about it. Shedeur was viewed by many scouts, analysts, and insiders as a top 3 quarterback in this year's draft. Period. End of sentence. And yet, pick after pick, name after name. Dillon Gabriel, his Browns teammate, went in the 3rd round higher than Shedeur. With all due respect to Gabriel, who's got talent and grit, are we really going to sit here and say he's more pro-ready than Shedeur Sanders? Come on, that's not football, that's politics. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Because when you bring Deion Sanders into the equation, you're not just drafting a quarterback, you're inheriting the Sanders brand. And some NFL execs, let's be honest, I'm ready for that. Don't take my word for it. Look at what Deion said on record. He made it clear there were teams he didn't want his son going to. That raised eyebrows. That shook the room. And you better believe it gave front offices pause. Because this league, for all its innovation and talent, is still run by a group of owners who do not like being told what to do. You can call it conservative, you can call it traditional, or you can call it what it really is. A power structure that values control above all else. When Deion Sanders says he's not going there, some GM is here, you don't get to make that call. And that's where the walls go up. Now, back to Cleveland. What we're seeing now is the beginning of a quarterback competition that could turn the entire AFC North on its head. Shedeur is showing flashes, social media is buzzing, he's accurate, he's confident, and he's soaking up the system. But he's not alone. Dillon Gabriel is still getting a large share of first-team reps. The Browns reached for him in the 3rd round, and that move wasn't random. In fact, sources inside the Browns front office are reportedly shocked that no one picked up on how high they were on Gabriel during the pre-draft process. They brought him in for private workouts, a top 30 visit, they were locked in. That means this isn't just about talent, it's about investment, draft capital, who the organization put their chips on. But here's the thing, if Shedeur outperforms Gabriel in camp, in OTAs, and especially in the preseason, you can't ignore that. At some point, performance has to matter more than perception. And we're not even talking about the veterans in the room yet. Let's not forget, Joe Flacco is still in the mix. Kenny Pickett is on the roster. That's 4 quarterbacks for what will likely be 3 roster spots. Someone's getting cut, someone's getting traded. And here's a wild thought if Shedeur balls out this preseason. Don't be shocked if the Browns use this QB depth as currency. One good preseason game, and you could see Gabriel or Pickett flip to another team desperate for depth. That's how fast this league moves. Let's widen the lens for a minute. In Tennessee, Cam Wardner, 1 overall pick, is doing exactly what you want your franchise quarterback to do. He knows the playbook. He's working closely with his young receivers. He's vocal. He's demanding. The Titans love him. And it's easy to see why. That leadership quality, it's rare. And down in New Orleans, Tyler Shaw is getting a real opportunity with Derek Carr retiring. The Saints liked his maturity, his experience, and his toughness. They knew the transition was coming, and they drafted a guy who's already built to lead. That quarterback room, it's wide open too, with Spencer Rattler and Jake Henner also in the mix. Another battle brewing. Bottom line, across the NFL, we are seeing a changing of the guard at quarterback. New names, new faces, and in some cases, new rules. So let's bring it back to Cleveland. If you ask me, Shedeur Sanders is exactly what the NFL claims to want in a young quarterback. Poised, confident, talented, intelligent. He's not just a player, he's a brand. Yes, but he backs it up. But for Shedeur to succeed, someone in Cleveland has to be bold enough to give him the keys. Because if you're scared of the media attention, if you're scared of the spotlight that comes with the Sanders Namu, Dan T deserve to have him on your roster in the first place. Let the kid play, let him earn it. Let the football do the talking. Now it's your turn. Do you believe Shedeur Sanders should be the future of the Browns? Was he disrespected during the draft because of who his father is? And between Sanders and Gabriel, who do you trust more to lead a team into battle? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. This is your channel. This is your voice. And trust me, we're just getting started. Until next time, stay locked in.